Hello, everybody. I have decided to come back. Hello, hello, hello. I have decided to come back from earlier today because I watched some shit and I feel like discussing it because it was pretty crazy what I had to see. It's pretty nuts. So I definitely just want to discuss it. Definitely do because it was definitely weird. It was from a video that I was just watching that was from 4 days ago, and I like to go over it. I like to go over it because it really freaked me out. So this is from Chris on Point. Okay, this is 4 days ago, and I would really like to go into this because it's weird. It's weird. It's like worse than weird. It's creepy as fuck. It's creepy as fuck. I don't like it. I don't like what I had to watch. It's really weird, and I just want to just go over this again because of how weird it was. So let's definitely jump into this.
Kirk has a lot of explaining to do after this video right here. After doing some more digging, I ran across a few videos on X exposing Erica Kirk's parents on who they really are and what they used to do back in the 1980s. And let me just tell you right now, it looks very evil.
Bet you haven't heard this. Here is an old photo of Erica Kirk's parents, Lori and Kent France. And here is a younger photo of them with a lady named Lilith Aquino. Now, Lilith Aquino is married to a Michael Aquino, who is quite literally the most prolific Satanist in our military.
And just so you guys can see right here, Erica Kirk's parents at a 1980s Temple of Set ritual with Michael Aquino's wife, Lilith. And now this is exactly what the chick in the video was talking about. You can see right here, Erica Kirk's mother, her father, and the woman named Lilith, who's married to the same.
That is just like the weirdest shit ever. That is so fucking weird and creepy. I don't know why nobody's really talking about this. It's fucking weird. I mean, you got these people talking about it, but nobody wants to put two and two together about it. I mean, it's just so darn creepy. It's so darn weird that her parents have inside connections like this. Both of them. Both of them. It's weird as hell. It's weird as hell. I had to get on and fucking just go over this because it's so creepy.
That leader named Michael Aquino. And then, of course, you can see them now, which are Erica Kirk's mother and father. Now, who is Michael Aquino, you ask? Well, let's give some context behind this individual right here. Michael Aquino, 1946 to 2019, was a U.S. Army Psychological Operations PSYOP officer, military intelligence specialist.
Weird. And we all know who Michael Aquino is. We all know who Michael Aquino is. I've talked about the Temple of Set of Michael Aquino.
An occultist. He is best known as the founder and high priest of the Temple of Set, a religious organization he formed in 1975 after breaking away from Anton LaVey's Church of Satan. So you're telling me Erica Kirk's mother and father were acquaintances or did work with a man named Michael Aquino, who is a cult leader for the Temple of Set, which is basically leading a Church of Satan. And just
Not just a church of Satan, it's a church of ancient occultism from the Egyptian school of the darker black magic of Set. Because they're gonna, because we're gonna go, they're gonna go, and he's gonna go a little bit into who Set is, and what Egyptian god Set was, because he was an evil Egyptian god who dwelled in the darkness. Who we all know what the Egyptians created. They were of all the mystic schools. The Emerald Tablet of Thoth. Okay?
to give you guys a little bit more backstory behind this Michael Aquino guy and how he founded the Temple of Set, check this video out right here.
In the book, the speaker announced, "I, Satan, appear now in the form of Set," declaring that Satan was actually a mask or misnomer for the true Prince of Darkness. The being said it no longer wished to be addressed by the Hebrew-derived name Satan, which had become confused by centuries-old cultural baggage, but instead by Set, the name it was called in ancient Egypt. Set was the god of darkness, storms, and desert places in Egyptian mythology. In it, Aquino, addressed personally by name, is proclaimed to be the new Magus. The text acknowledges Anton LaVey as having carried an infernal mandate for a time, a reconsecration that began in 1966.
He specializes in psychological operations, and he actually founded the first ever tax-exempt, government-recognized
Crazy.
satanic institutions called the Temple of Set. Now, what a lot of people...
Yeah, like the government wasn't trying to set up no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. It's just the government's all blind to it. The government is pieces of shit. They have secretly all this stuff happening. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You know, of course they set up Charlie Kirk to fucking be killed. I mean, this is all of it is too much. It's all too much. All these connections that she has, Erica Franze, and her fucking parents, and then everything, how it happened to him and how he was going to betray Israel, which Israel is the state of Saturn, which Saturn is Satan, which is Set. Evil has all different names when it comes to this. You can't just go by one name. Oh, it's just Satan. No. It goes much deeper down the rabbit hole than that.
Don't know is that Aquino's house was raided in 1987, where they quite literally found videos of him performing satanic, ritualistic blank on children.
And what do you think that means? Satanic ritual abuse. Satanic ritual abuse, SRA. Because this is how evil these people are, that they do this. They're just evil, man. They're just evil. We have to just be open about how evil the world is. Nobody wants to. Everybody just wants to be like, oh, it's rainbows and glitter and unicorns, and it's party time. It's always time for the good time. You have to just ignore everything and just keep doing what you do and focus on yourself. Don't worry about anything else. Just worry about yourself. That's what they fucking tell you your whole lives, right?
Never once has any charges been filed against him.
Ritualistic blank on children, which you can put the dots together, which is funny because you have a lot of people doing their own investigation and starting to realize, which Candace spoke on this as well.
Which Candace Owens isn't the only one that's doing this. I'm sure there's things that she's getting wrong, and then there's other legitimate people who are putting the dots in, right? There's other legitimate people who are more legitimized than her that are connecting all the dots. And there's some legit people who believe that this was all an inside job. That all this was done in total by just not Israel, but by many people within Turning Point USA as well.
Erica Kirk seems to have some ties to Epstein, and we all know what Epstein...
And look, that blurry video that I showed on the other live stream, yeah, if you put 2 and 2 together, since the video is so blurry, it could look like that's Tyler Robinson. But to be honest, it's a black figure. There's been other bullets that are on the other roof and this and that. And there's so many things that go into this that are creepy as fuck.
Was about and what he did when it came to the whole Epstein Island.
And you could see the people who are so against even asking questions about this, they're evil. They're evil. They're greedy. They want to make money off the back of talking about Candace Owens. All they want to do is make money off her because they know how big she is. And calling her an idiot and making content about her. It's easy to pick on her because she's a woman. It's super easy. I'm not saying just because she's a woman. It's also because she's black. It's easy to pick on her. I've done it. I mean, I still think because she was so entranced on the inside. I feel like she's a psychological operation herself because she's not totally getting everything right. But nobody is perfect. But at the end of the day, I think there is more legit people out here who are connecting the dots that she fails to do. that she fails to do.
The fetish that he had with children. So interesting that Erica Kirk's parents seem to have a connection with this man, and it just led on to Erica Kirk and her path as well.
He's a CIA operative.
Like, I think this is a very good video. This is very good by this guy, Chris on point. He was really on point. I got to tell you this because Michael Aquino is very entrenched in the MK Ultra program. Very entrenched in the MK Ultra program. Michael Aquino was in the military. He was part of the Church of Satan of Anton LaVey. He was very close with him, and he was high up in the military of the United States doing these MK Ultra experiments on innocent people. And there was tons of people being experimented on, and they still haven't released all the files, and they need to release everything. They need to. And the programs are still going on. The programs are still going on, okay? They have tons of MK Ultra wind-up toys walking around all over the place that could be having psychological issues because of their MK Ultra programming. They want to go do mass shootings and mass killings. The government, all they need to do to an MK Ultra wind-up toy is say a phrase, and then boom, it's going to be some crazy motherfucker. Because it's like a hypnosis. It's trauma-based mind control. And that's what MK Ultra is. It's trauma-based mind control. The emotions from people about this, about asking questions about this, the emotions of people are so dramatic. It's like they're under MK Ultra, and it's like they're on the mass attack of people doxing them, mass attack of wanting people censored, mass attack of no, conspiracy theories are bad now. It's just the mass attack because they just have so many people emotionally invested in this. So emotionally invested in this. They want you to be silenced, to never speak about conspiracy theories again. No. You can't have no ideas. You're not allowed to have your own thoughts. They just think now people are making money off this, like Nick Fuentes saying, oh, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're making money off this. Bro, I've talked about all the deepest, darkest conspiracy theories out there. I am not being elevated whatsoever. Another channel that doesn't get, gets better elevation than me, but doesn't still get censored as fuck. A call for an uprising. A call for an uprising. He gets severely censored. A call for an uprising. You're not allowed to talk about the actual conspiracy theories that matter. That makes sense. Too many of these conspiracy theories now have been coming true. Chemtrails, fluoride. Now we have fucking UFOs, even, that have been declassified. And they are real. And they say that they are non-human origin of technology. So now we have all this. Does it look like somebody who actually talks about conspiracy theories and is anti-Israel? These people like Nick Fuentes will say they're being elevated. They're making so much money. They could make a killing doing this. I don't know what the fuck that guy's even saying because he just sounds like controlled opposition. Just like I believe that even though Candace Owens is opening up about a lot of things and getting people opened up about a lot of things, she's also controlled opposition. And then all these other people, I feel like they're in cahoots with her, who talk about her constantly and bash her. I feel like they're making a shitload of money off her too. And they're making a killing. And I think all of that is all in conjunction with the psychological operation that's going on everybody. To get you mad at each other. You're not allowed to ask questions anymore. You don't have free speech. You have to be okay with openly being spied on, but told you on your cell phone, now you're full of crap, you're not being spied on your cell phone. That's impossible. That's impossible. It can't happen that way. No. We're allowed to put cameras up and say, you call them flock cameras, and we could openly tell you we're spying on you. But if you try to think that it's happening on your phone or your computer, you're dead wrong and you're a liar. That's against the law. The United States government can't do that. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah. Here's an older photo of Michael and Lilith, just to throw in there. And also, a lot of people have suspicion that he might be their father, but I don't know.
You know, this is crazy. This would be fucking nuts because they kind of do look alike. And they kind of look like him. It's just creepy, man. It's just really fucking creepy what's going on.
Either way, I'll just go ahead and end it with this clip.
You know, his wife, you are a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army. Correct. Now, and how does the Army feel about you being head of the Temple of Set? The Army is not about my religion for the entire span of my Army career, which began in 1968. And there was a reasonable amount of curiosity, as there has been all the way along.
I said I was going to be back if I found anything else that really creeped me the fuck out. And I came back because this video really creeped me the fuck out.
What exactly is this strange and unusual thing? And I've talked about it much the same way that I've talked here today on your show about it. And other than that, the Army has paid very little attention to it. So you just go about your Army duties and it's fine and you move on. Okay.
Just look at the man right there. I mean, the whole eyebrow curl, the hair seems like Count Dracula.
Yeah, he just looks like a fucking evil creep.
Esque. Seems like he's ready to bite you on the neck and suck your blood. If an individual looks like this, by all means, please run away because your life is in danger. And if it doesn't get any more interesting than that, when it comes to Erica Kirk and her ties to this cult, check this tweet out right here, posted by Mason Lemmy, where he says, I think it's so funny how people defending Erica pretend that this doesn't exist among the plethora of suspicious things about her. Yeah, that's BB's son with Erica and Tyler Boyer. You can see right here a Facebook post that was posted in 2019 where Tyler Boyer posts introducing the Arizona Israel Public Affairs Committee. Happy to welcome Yair Netanyahu to State 48.
By the way, he changed his name. Yair Netanyahu. He fucking changed his name. And that's a clear indication that I feel like his father's fucking going down. That Netanyahu was being taken out. There's going to be a new coalition and it's going to be like the Ben Gvir. Okay? Ben Gvir may be the one that becomes the next prime minister. And that would be terrible because that guy is fucking insane.
Very interesting that they already had ties with Bibi Netanyahu, with Israel. And then all of a sudden, Charlie Kirk starts to criticize what they're doing. 48 hours later, he's no longer here. Erica, can you please come to the stage and explain this relationship?
They're never going to explain anything. They're never going to explain nothing. They don't feel like they even have to explain anything to us whatsoever. They don't have anything to explain. They don't want to explain nothing. They don't give a shit what any of us think whatsoever. They're going to continue doing what they do. These people are evil. Good people have guilt and shame. Evil people like this don't.
Right here, because I don't think you've done that yet.
This is the rabbit hole that keeps on rabbit holing. Erica Kirk has multiple connections to a Satanist. Now, it's starting to be more well known that a person named Paul Vallely was on the board of Turning Point USA publicly until last week. Why does that matter? Well, Paul Vallely co-wrote an article with a person named Dr. Michael Aquino. Basically,
look at this fucking guy's eyebrows. He looks like the vampire from the Munsters. I forgot what his name was. But that's what his eyebrows look like. He looks like a fucking creepy weirdo.
It's the formative document for the CIA's use of psychological manipulation, or a PSYOP. And one of my recent posts included a person named Lilith Aquino, Michael Aquino's wife, doing some very interesting Harry Potter stuff with a woman who looks just like Laurie Fransby.
And you heard her mention the name Paul Vallely, who is a retired U.S. general as well, who worked with Michael Aquino, but also wrote...
Remember, this is Chris on point here, and he's being pretty on point.
The book together, which is The War on PSYOP or something like that. They wrote the book together, so they had a connection, which is crazy because Paul Vallely was working with, guess who? Turning Point USA, as you can see right here. Paul Vallely is a retired U.S. Army Major General who is a conservative political activist. Valley services on the advisory...
This is weird. This is a very, very crazy connection right here.
Advisory Council for Turning Point USA, a well-known youth conservative group. So you're telling me this man who worked with a Satanist who had his own cult called the Temple of Set is working with Turning Point USA? And a lot of people want to make fun of Candace Owens and say that she has a cult and people follow her. Who's really in a cult? Matter of fact, I think the cult is hiding inside TPUSA. And just to give you guys some more evidence, yes, I went to ChatGPT because it does give you information like this. So check this out. Paul E. Vallely and
So, to do an interjection here and all this crazy shit, 2 hours ago by the general on X, breaking President Trump plans to escalate attacks on Iran and has ordered Israel to stay the hell out of his way. They're not going to stay out of his way.
Michael Aquino.
But that might be better for them because they may be like, okay, we'll stay out of the way. Just fucking destroy them. And that's what may happen.
Did co-author a paper in 1980 titled From PSYOP to Mind War, the Psychology of Victory. At the time, both were serving in the U.S. Army 7th Psychological Operations Group. Michael Aquino later became the founder of the Temple of Set, a religion that split from the Church of Satan. His role as founder of the Temple of Set is well documented, which we showed. Now, we have to be fair. There is no public evidence that Vallely was involved in Aquino's religion or Satanism. Now, yes, there is no proof that he was, but then when you put 2 and 2 together, it starts to look fishy because if you were acquainted with this man, you guys worked together in the army as a psychological, as both were.
I mean, they both wrote the book together. You don't write a book with somebody, especially back then, because this wasn't like the internet. You don't do that unless you're very acquainted with the person, friendship, close friendship. Yeah, obviously these guys were fucking weirdo, cult fucking like people of the Temple of Set with doing psychological operations on innocent people, doing experiments. There's 2 that are known of, like the Montauk Project and the Philadelphia Experiment, which are 2 that Stranger Things was based on. L was, 11. L, like Elohim. MK Ultra. MK Ultra experiments being done to make people more than human, which they're out there or have been out there. So there's some weird shit that's not seen yet, which the unseen, who knows it'll ever be seen.
Serving right here, serving in the U.S. Army 7th Psychological Operations Group, you guys have some form of relationship. You knew what Michael Aquino was doing, which means you accepted it. And also the fact that you're working with TPUSA and knowing the relationship that possibly Erica Kirk's parents had with this man, you're telling me that we're supposed to believe that TPUSA is this whole Christianity mega group that's pushing the Bible and pushing Jesus Christ? We're supposed to believe that, or are they just using that message to get you guys to fall in line so they can suck you in and suck you dry for all your money?
Strangest part isn't Charlie Kirk. It isn't even TPUSA. The strangest part is the lineage behind it. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino wrote a book called Mind War while stationed at the Presidio in San Francisco. Not a self-help book, not a political rant, a blueprint for psychological warfare, mass persuasion, narrative control, cognitive terrain. And Aquino was also an open Satanist. He never hid it, never denied it. Aquino didn't write Mind War alone. His collaborative with retired Major General Paul E. Vallely. Fast forward. Vallely sits on the board at Turning Point USA.
Weird.
So take a step back. Strip away the merch, the slogans, the crowd noise. What is TPUSA actually doing? It's not just debating ideas. It's persuasion at scale, changing minds, moving groups, steering perception. And when the same people tied to a psychological warfare playbook are embedded inside a movement built to shape mass belief, coincidence stops being a useful explanation. This isn't about symbols. This is about methods. Because Mind War doesn't care what flag you wave. It only cares that you don't notice you're waving it.
That was a powerful ending right there, saying that they don't care what flag you wave. They just care that you don't notice that you're waving it.
That's right.
That's exactly what's happening.
Like, people who still think this is about the left-right paradigm, right? Like, if you're leftist, you have to be the enemy of the MAGA movement. If you're MAGA, you have to be the enemy of the radical left, while both of you are being manipulated to just fight over all the little stupid shit other than what's really going on behind the veil. And if we just lift the curtain, we would know what's really going on and we'd be able to confront it. You see people going after the flock cameras. It's just, oh, they're just like, a lot of people can be like at this point, oh, but they just spy on our phones. Who cares? No, it's not who cares. They don't openly tell you that they spy on your phone, spy on you on your phone. They don't openly say it. We just say it to each other because we know what's going on. They deny it. The government denies it. They don't want it. They don't want that to actually get out that most people are being spied on, and it's like nobody would have a smartphone anymore if they really knew. They really knew like how deep it went. But the reason why people are going after the flock cameras, it's because they're openly telling you, "Hey, we're spying on you. We're spying on you. We can use," which there's, I already put up videos this morning of police using them to go after their families. Crazy. Crazy, man. We live in a really bad world right now.
Happening with the cult of TPUSA. People are following along because they're preaching Jesus Christ. They're preaching the Bible, making it sound good, sound great. But then when you look at the history behind Erica Kirk, her parents, and when you go even deeper than that, you see that
People use religion, though, as an institution to just brainwash people and to create sheeple. All these institutions of all these religions, it's all bullshit at the end of the day. It's all about living closely to morality. It's not about, for them, doing that. They want to do the evil. They do the evil behind the scenes and they tell you to your face, hey, this is what it is. We really do this. And everybody's just like, they can't, if you can't prove it at the end of the day, then you can't do nothing about it. But all the proof is out there. It's all out there. The proof is they did do it. There's nobody that can really debate you and say, no, they don't do this. But we know they do. There's no person that can deny anything that's being done to us. The taxes being stolen for war and for other things to line the pockets of their buddies. The chemicals in the food and the water, what they're spraying in the sky, that they're lying to you about the climate. They're saying that it's dangerous, which this leftists believe this stupid bullshit. They tell you to be over sexual because nobody's happy in life. There's more depressed people than ever. They try to tell you go on SRIs and it'll take care of it and you'll be fine. Just move forward. You will owe nothing and you will be happy.
have ties to people that are Satanist. And speaking of the TPUSA cult, look at this tweet right here by a woman named Avery Day. Some people are closer to Jesus than others. Erica Kirk is one of those people. You really can see the spirit working through her. It gives me chills. You either admire it and allow it to bring out a light in you, or you allow it to bring out a darkness because of envy and a lack of recognition for what it is. There is no denying something greater at play here. She really does count it all joy. It's inspiring and makes me want to be a better, stronger person. If that's not your reaction to her, some self-reflection may be necessary. Well, my friend, maybe you might need to do some self-reflection because after what I just showed, doesn't look like they're really working in the name of Jesus if you look into it deep enough. You guys let me know about this right here. I noticed that people were talking about this months ago, but it's crazy.
Yeah, that was really nuts. That was really crazy. That was really crazy, man. I never really seen anything like that before. Something like that. That is really wild. But we're gonna take a look at something else. Okay. No. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Let's go over here. And then we're going to go to X. X gonna give it to you. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go to X. Which this just keeps on getting even more and more crazy, man. So now Trump is telling Israel, like, yeah, you can fuck off. That's what Trump is telling Israel. Which I didn't think oh my God, stupid. Stupid, man. If you look at that, that was probably one of the dumbest shit I've ever seen, but we gotta refresh it here. We gotta refresh it here. Okay, so my bookmarks are not loading. Browser's a little slow. It's the comment browser. Yeah, there we go. Breaking. This was 2 hours ago. Breaking. President Trump plans to escalate attacks on Iran and has ordered Israel to stay the hell out of his way. Hmm. And then here's the source right here. And I wonder who the source could be. I wonder who the source could be. I wonder who the source could be. Let's look at any updates here in the notification section. Iran launched missiles at King Hussein International Airport and Aqaba, Jordan. Israeli missiles interceptors were triggered to shoot down debris to prevent it from landing in Israel. Okay, so the so the source to this, from what Trump said, is the Jerusalem Post. There's no bigger rats for the Jews than their own newspapers because they rat themselves out constantly. Trump leaning towards escalation with Iran, source tells Post. Trump understands that barring an unexpected development, the chances of a diplomatic solution with Iran is now virtually non-existent, an official told the Post. Yeah, because there is no solution. They don't want a fucking solution. They don't want no solution. So this is July 19th, 2026. And then it was updated July 19th, 2026. U.S. President Donald Trump is leaning toward the further escalation with Iran, according to the statements by several Israeli and American officials on Sunday. It appears President Trump is preparing to expand the campaign against Iran, one official told the Jerusalem Post. The remaining questions are how much and when he understands that, barring an unexpected development, the chances of a diplomatic solution is now virtually non-existent, of course, because they don't want one. They don't want one. They don't want a viable solution to peace. There is no peace that's going to happen. However, another official cautioned that Trump has changed course at the last minute before, noting that his position could still shift. Yeah, because this guy will shift. He thinks he's doing art of the deal, and they have a retard. Israel just using their puppet retard. Miriam Adelson, like I was showing earlier, may have been the one to tell them to keep the Epstein files hidden, which I didn't understand that because it didn't seem like she's in that, even though who knows who's redacted in there that they're not mentioning. Israel's current assessment is that Iran will refrain from launching attacks against Israel as long as the United States does not significantly escalate its military campaign against Tehran. Bullshit. Bullshit. They never keep their word either. Regarding the possibility of Israel joining the strikes on Iran, two Israeli officials told the Post that it could happen under three scenarios. If Iran launches attacks against Israel, if Israeli intelligence detects that Iran is preparing to launch missiles or drones at Israel, or if Trump formally requests Israeli participation in the operation. Netanyahu hints at escalation. Of course he does. Of course he does. During a meeting of the Likud Constitution Committee, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hinted that an escalation could occur in the coming days. I support holding the primaries, but there is a possibility that we could face an exceptional security situation that would make it difficult to hold campaign events, said Netanyahu. It could coincide with election day or occur beforehand, making it difficult to conduct the vote. Oh, because this guy wants to stay. You don't want to go nowhere. Netanyahu does not want to go anywhere, just like Trump doesn't want to go anywhere. Both of them want to stay. They want to stay exactly where they are. So let's see those strikes that happen. So we got a video here of the strikes. Oh, hold on. Yeah, see, I don't get that. There's something weird with Twitter where it plays like twice with the microphone. So every time we play a Twitter video, we're gonna put this down here, okay? Crazy. Crazy. That's nuts, bro. That's nuts. What else is going on here? GOP Ls. The Trump administration is now alleging Iran is planning to target U.S. citizens outside of the Middle East. If this is true, Americans in every corner of the world could be at risk. Crazy. So, open-minded approach. So far, World War III is being fought on two fronts. But with the recent news about China, it is about to widen. The oil refineries are being destroyed left and right. They already know that a civilizational collapse is coming, but the elites are trying to take control of the, let's read the full post here, take control of the wheel and seize as many resources as they can from the masses, which is us, because that's all they're going to do is just take our resources and just totally say fuck you all. We have the underground bunkers. We're gonna set off all the fucking nukes. All of you people are you didn't believe us during COVID. We're getting to the last plan, and we just want to make up some shit like some antichrist is gonna come. We're just gonna destroy the whole fucking world. Aliens exist. This exists. We haven't been able to come to peace with the whole Ishtar, whatever, Galactic Federation. I think I'll put that on that video actually, because that was weird. The Ishtar Galactic Federation, whatever it was. Oh, let's look into that actually. Let's look into that. Oh, screen 2, screen 1. So we're definitely going to look into that because this is what the aliens supposedly told us, right? So let's see. Aha. Hacking and Jammer TV broadcast in English, Galactic Federation of Light. Yeah, let's listen to this because this is pretty crazy. And this is by
The Rhodesian nationalist leader, Bishop Abel Muzorewa, has accepted Mr. Smith's offer to negotiate an internal settlement based on one man, one vote.
You see what year this was? 11/26/1977.
But, he says, there are conditions. These include stopping the execution of all captured prisoners of war, allowing Bureau to stake negotiations, being arrested. In Australia, Mr. Kerry Packer and his cricketers are still pending yesterday's High Court decision. This is the voice of Omar, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights in the stars. We speak to you now to say the same as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth. We come to reveal the destiny of your race and your world so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid the disaster which threatens your world and the beings on other worlds around you. This is in order that we may share in a great awakening as the planet passes into a new age of Aquarius. The new age will be a time of great peace and evolution for your race. Only your rulers are made to take forces that cannot show their judgments. Be still now, and listen, for your chance may not come again. All your weapons of evil must be removed. The time for conflict is now past, and the race of which you are a part may proceed to the higher stages of its evolution, if you show yourselves worthy to do this. You have but a short time to learn to live together in peace and goodwill. Small groups.
And they're telling us something. They're telling us something. A short time to them is our human life. These people live probably for thousands of years. These non-human entities, calling them people, they're not even people, they're non-human entities. They live way longer than we do. Way longer. Way longer. So yeah, our experiment is our lifetime.
All over the planet are learning this, and exist to pass on the light of the dawning new age to you all. You are free to accept the
Many go as wide as that. Then they run off.
Here now, the voice of Rimon, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. Be aware also that there are many false prophets and guides operating on your world. They will suck your energy from you, the energy you call money, and will put into evil areas, giving you worthless dross in return. But your divine self will protect you from this. You must be utterly sensitive to the voice within you. That can tell you what is true. Learn to listen to the voice of truth which is within you. It's such a thing. This is our message.
I really appreciate that we can't. I insist on the little full of only really choice ingredients. I can
Cats have 9 lives.
well,
Have no fears. Keep on learning yourself and discover the ways of your planet Earth. When you are the Ashtar Galactic Command, thank you for your attention. We are now leaving the planes of your existence. May you be blessed by the supreme love and truthful values.
Use your imagination.
Then goes back to the regular scheduled programming. Crazy. So that was in 1977. Nuts, man. Nuts, man. Nuts. Now let's go back to this. Destroying the left and the right. The oil refineries are being destroyed left and right. They already know that civilization is collapsed. Yeah, all this stuff is going to happen. Look at this, man. Battle on two fronts. Ukraine in Iran. And look at all the traffic for the planes too. Look how many planes are flying around. Shit. Let's go here. If you're ever in Columbus, no, I don't really care. ABC Jonathan, so this is Mary Newfall. ABC's Jonathan Carl to Senator Mark Warner. You and every other Democrat oppose the Save America Act requiring photo ID to register to vote. Is this something Democrats should get behind? Senator Warner. In Virginia, we have voter ID and photo ID. Carl, that Carl, that's actually not the case. I'm a Virginia voter.
A lot of reasons that now I understand that you and I think every other Democrat oppose the so-called Save America Act, and there's a lot of reasons that you've put forward. But let me ask you very narrowly on the issue of photo ID, requiring photo ID to register to vote. Is this something that Democrats should get behind?
We have
80-some% of Americans, 71% of Democrats say they favor this.
You know what? In Virginia, we have voter ID and photo ID. I got to show my.
That's actually not the case. I mean, I'm a Virginia voter. You don't need to show a photo ID in Virginia. There are a wide range of things you can show for ID, and if you don't show one of those, you can sign an affidavit saying.
Sign an affidavit. But comes back, and those become ballots that, if you want to contest later, can be contested. But you do have a variety of documents. But we have voter ID of one form or another. Should that be an action?
Yeah, they definitely want. A lot of people definitely want this to happen. They definitely do. You really changed. So this is showing how you really changed my life. Clavicular on hearing from followers who say his content helped them. Oh God, what is going on?
Step at a time. Well over 1 million followers. Mm-hmm. Do you have a goal? No, I would say I'm just kind of taking this one step at a time because it does feel good when you're doing your IRL streams and so many people come up and say like, "Hey, thank you, man! Like you really changed my life." Like,
yeah, telling you to get disfigured in your face, which he was disfigured, and he got actual surgery now because he has the money to get actual surgery now. Before he looked fucking deformed, and now he got his face fixed because he has the money to get his face fixed. But all the people that he was talking to and doing his live streams about, yeah, you could just continue to hit your face with a fucking hammer and look deformed.
I lost 60 pounds and I did this, and now I have a girlfriend. Now I feel better just every time I step outside. So it is rewarding in that sense. Well over 1 million.
Yeah, you got surgery because your face was fucking disfigured because you're fucking hitting your face with a hammer, and then all those people who are gonna be, oh yeah, looks maxing. I'm gonna beat my face with a hammer and get disfigured. Fucking retards. Fucking retards. David J. Harris Jr. Scott Besson, if you're on public assistance, you can no longer wire money out of the country. Whoa. Now that's huge. That's definitely big. If you're on public assistance, you can no longer wire money out of the country. Damn. Okay, this is anonymous here. This account has been on here on Twitter for a long time, just like me. The Jerusalem Post. Mossad spurs Iran protest, says agents with demonstrators in Farsi message. As protests grow across Iran, the Mossad posted an unusual Farsi message urging demonstrators to act, saying it is with them in the streets amid rising economic pressure and public unrest. So they just admitted that that Mossad was the one who started the protest over there. That's crazy, man. Pastor Evan Williams. This is actually happening. I was in a chair watching in the corner of the room. And there I was between Benjamin Netanyahu and Lindsey Graham. Dude, it's getting nuts, man. It's getting crazy. What's this? David says stuff. A backtracker. Do you think John Fetterman comments are treasonous? What? Now we're saying his comments are treasonous.
Express my dismay the way the Democratic
So I'm starting something brand new. It's called You Said It, I Didn't, and today's guest is Senator John Fetterman. Take a look.
Please express my dismay the way the Democratic Party continues to turn their back on Israel. So I've said that publicly, like that's my red line. If Democratic Party becomes official anti-Israel, then that's when I would force me out.
Yes, some Democrats are following the lead of their constituents, which means voting against Israel. And now you're threatening to register as a Republican over it, over Israel. So what you're saying is you never actually believed in anything that the Democratic Party stood for if it doesn't support Israel. And that's why you're a one-issue politician. Only the one issue is Israel. You should be in prison for treason. You said it, I didn't. Israel is your litmus test, not Pennsylvania, not the people who elected you, Israel. And sometimes politicians tell you exactly who they are. You said it, I didn't.
Yeah, that's true. They're the ones that do say it. They admit it all. And then China must be stopped. Look at this. Let me make me smaller here. All sides of politicians. Republican Marco Rubio, Republican J.D. Vance, Democrat Joe Biden, Republican Donald Trump, Democrat Kamala Harris, Democrat Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi said she would stand by Israel no matter what. They all said it. They've all said it. And these were people who hold highest office in the country. And they're all in bed with Israel and Jewish donor money that benefits Israel. And they're going to continue to do that. There is no stopping the uniparty. There is no stopping the uniparty. Drunk Hegseth wants American soldiers to die for Israel. I want you to die for Israel. Of course they do. Dan Bilzerian for Congress, which is Dan Bilzerian. A wave of IDF soldiers with brains broken from committing genocide are about to land at a Malaysian resort for therapy and will rape and harass locals for the next 3 months, paid for by American taxes. And this is Dan Bilzerian retweeting Parody Jeff. What the fuck is he going to do now? The gates of hell are about to be unleashed. Oh, man. Great. So he's about to unleash the gates of hell. Great. Great. For fuck's sake. Donald Trump is a traitor to America. 2 U.S. soldiers were just killed. This is Kentucky Statesman via Parody Jeff retweet. Which we're going to look at this right here. 2 U.S. soldiers were just killed by an Iranian attack on an airbase in Jordan. They died for Israel. And there they are. And there they are, people. And there it is. And it's not going to end. And it's never going to end. And gas prices are going to go up. We got to look at the Kalshi market. Because oh, what the fuck? Why they didn't pull up Kalshi? Are you kidding me? And this browser could sometimes be stupid. There we fucking had it and it did that. There it is. Prediction market. So we got to go to the prediction market here. To the Kalshi prediction market we go. Hi ho, hi ho. Okay. Or we could just go to my website, theculturewar.lol, which I'm pretty sure I have the prediction mark. No, it's not working. Again, it's not working, but we got to see. It might have to load up. Oh, it is working. Okay. Culture. Okay. Well, the
First Garden Botanicals brings you herbal remedies such as sunshine and pine tea blend.
white
Be
pine
quiet
cinnamon
there.
and quercetin. Herbs in 1980.
Well, you can always see
Herbs
my
popular
old
during the
live stream over
1980s
here.
pandemic. Fire cider,
I
a
didn't want
zesty
you to
tonic
know.
for your.
Yep, and there's that UFO, which they stretched out, right? They stretched it out, but we don't want to change the subject here. We definitely want to go back up. On my website, which is theculturewar.lol. So, world, how bad will CO2, atmospheric, climate, will the U.S. meet climate goals? I don't know. Who will Trump's next attorney general be? Let's go to the prediction markets, which is going to take us to Kalshi anyways. I think, let me see. I got to look at my app for a second. See where I logged into. Because they're betting on gas going above, either going at $4 or going above $4, which I don't know, you know, how this is going to work here, because people are going to get pissed off. They're going to get pissed off, let me tell you. They're going to get really mad. Okay, so I logged in with my Apple ID. Great. This is good. Oh, man. Maybe it's not good. Okay. So we just got to get off that for a second. What happens when you got much security? Much security. Okay. Now we could get in Kalshi here and look at the bets. Because the prediction markets, there's a lot of insider trading going on with the prediction markets. A lot of insider trading. Tons and tons and tons. Tons. Okay. So what do we got? Live. Electronics trending. I think it was in culture when I saw it last. Odyssey. World Cup. I know they had a bet like that, but this is all pretty crazy. Movie. I mean, this is all culture. How about commodities? Commodities. Aha, right here. So I guess I could have went to crypto tech. So how about finance? See, they got 7, so I got to get that in as commodities. So will gas hit above $4? Which I think I'm going to put yes on that. I'm going to put yes on that. I'll put 52 cents on it. I'll put yes on that. Why not, right? Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? We could do that. Little bet here and there, right? Little bet here and there. Well, I don't know what everybody else thinks about that, but let's continue. Let's continue with X here. And I am fucking here for it. Deflocking activity increase across the country. Yeah. Yes, a man has been arrested and is facing charges in relation to the theft and destruction of multiple flock safety cameras around the Morgantown area. Deputies arrest man accused of destroying Morgantown flock cameras. He's not a criminal. He's not a criminal. They should not be criminalizing people for doing this. But who they really should be criminalizing is the people putting them up. But they're going to arrest you and tell you that you're wrong. But the ones who should be criminalized are the ones putting up the cameras, the ones that are spying on us on our smartphones and lying to us. Those are the people that should be criminalized. Not long hair, don't care here. Not long hair, don't care. He's fine. He's fine. He'll be all right. Long hair, don't care. Deflock activity increasing across the country, and that's Rob Dew of InfoWars. Okay? That is crazy. That is crazy. Oh, look at this idiot. It's honestly super fucked up how much money goes towards welfare. I like that. I pay so much in taxes so I can subsidize illegal aliens. So fun. I know. I know. Governor Bashir, stop posting bullshit reports. Walk into the hospital and demand to see Mitch. He is not just an ordinary citizen. It's your responsibility to tell Kentuckian if their senator is alive. Do it now. Stop pussyfooting. Not funny. Well, they're not really going to tell you the truth. I mean, this is like Biden all over again. And Dianne Feinstein. And the Republicans are just going to keep the charade going on because that's how this goes. You know how that shit goes. You know how this shit goes. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Here's Hodge twins again. The feds arrested the tape bros before Fauci or any of the Epstein pedo. Tells you everything you need to know. I don't know about that. I think they're also maybe a part of that whole thing because they just get to say whatever the hell they want and do whatever the hell they want. And nobody, none of us, I mean, look at me. I've been doing this since 2009. I've been saying all this. I said all this shit before they said it. Nope. Nobody making money. Nope. That's just not happening. And look at this. And look at all these people coming here and fleeing here. It's fucking crazy, man. And look at the years that it's been going. Let's look at this since the beginning. 2020. Oh my goodness. A visual tells tells 1,000 words. Holy shit. Let's lift me up here and I could show you with the numbers. Shit. It's how many people they just want to replace all of us. They want to replace every American. They just say fuck you. Fuck you. You're going to be replaced. You can't win in your own country with your own votes and what you care about. It's all about foreign interests. It's all about foreign interests, about Israel's interests, about the foreign people who are brown. It's about the trans people's interests and everything hedonistic and disgusting. Just let them come for your children and indoctrinate them. Yeah, just tell them they have to hate themselves as Americans, and that all these people could just come in here and take their place, and the government's just allowing it. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. The Tennessee Holler. This is what Bernie is referring to Nira. Hope this helps. Haley Stevens. Wow, 20 million. This is crazy. This is crazy. So let's see. We're going to go back to see if there's anything newer. Anything newer? Daniel Lambert. This halftime show is fucking dystopian. We believe in love. Meanwhile, Infantino is on Trump's board of peace as they set up literal concentration camps in Gaza. Fuck the USA and fuck FIFA. Yeah, look at that. Crazy. Anonymous again. Chris Pappas, who is running for Senate against progressive Karishma Mansour, voted present on the amendment that would have eliminated 3.3 billion in U.S. military aid to Israel. I don't know why you didn't vote against it, buddy. Rep. Pappas voted present on cutting Israel aid. Meet his progressive primary replacement. I don't like progressives. I hate progressives. They're just as bad. DD geopolitics, which is probably diligent Dennison geopolitics. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's read it anyways. So let's see. The Islamic resistance of Iraq ready for direct confrontation with USA. You got to be kidding me. So now we're going back to war with Iraq because now Iraq wants to have a war with us. This has been another underlying thing that's been going on, is that Iraq wants to go to war with us. The Islamic resistance in Iraq announced that it is prepared to directly engage in conflict with the United States if Washington continues its escalatory aggression actions against Iran. The Islamic resistance reaffirms its direct involvement in the battle against the American enemy. Should it continue to escalate its aggression against the Islamic Republic, it will target all American interests and bases in the country and the region with full force and determination. In this context, we would like to point out that the Islamic resistance in Iraq has not carried out any military operations against the American bases in Iraq and the region in the past few days. Just in the past few days. Yeah, what about all the other times, dummies? And this is from Rothmus. Feds withdraw request to ban kratom in 2018. Obama's DEA wanted to ban kratom compounds in 2016. Trump's team killed that plan in 2018 because there wasn't enough evidence and it would push people onto harder drugs. The swamp is now resurrecting Obama's failed idea. Trump needs to kill it again, but he he's the one who's president. I mean, he's more into marijuana than the kratom industry. I'll tell you that. He don't give a fuck about kratom. Palestine Info Center. Government Media Office. 3,795 Israeli ceasefire violations leave 1,168 victims, of course. And then this is Megatron. Breaking. CENTCOM says they have found unidentified remains from the third U.S. soldiers that was killed in Jordan. Jesus, another one. Another service member was also killed and one wounded in Iraq during a controlled detonation of a downed Iranian drone. Wow, that's fucking crazy. That is nuts. Okay, so this is Douglas McGregor. And this is about 43 minutes ago. Large-scale military and supply buildup in the Middle East, including an additional 24 F-16s, 12 F-15s, and 12 F-35s. And he definitely knows what's going on. Anyone want chips? Remember when Hillary Clinton was crucified for calling Donnie's maggots a basket of deplorables? She was being kind. No, because dude, you're a fucking idiot. Why would anybody ever fucking tout her? She's disgusting. The World Cup taught me new ways to be racist, and I appreciate that. You're just an idiot. I don't like if you're even watching the World Cup, you're an idiot. If you're watching a faggy sport, like why even give it any air whatsoever in your own fucking head? Cinema Shogun. Holy shit. Candace Owens' fake whistleblower, Mitch Snow, just snapped, boom, and threatened to kill her former ally, Evan Kilgore. All Evan did was ask Mitch why he was avoiding being served with the Brian Harpool lawsuit. Mitch responded by threatening to put it down, referring to killing Evan Kilgore. Mitch then deleted this comment, but he was too late. We have the screenshots. Candace needs to put a leash on this psychopath. Miss Kilgore as so this is what he said, Evan. Okay, let's get into this. Mitch, so this is Seven Kilgore. Mitch, why are you avoiding being served this lawsuit? There have now been 7 attempts to serve you this lawsuit. This is my only question for you. Why are you ignoring this? Harpool versus Owens. Okay, and this is real Mitch middle Mitch now. What the fuck? This guy is weird. Miss Kilgore, as has been proven in video multiple times, and I am not avoiding. Unlike you, I don't bootlick. Pete, Andy, you emotional support prostitute is loose again. Next time, I'll put it down. I don't know if that means that. I think people are just making a big thing out of something that's not even there. I have to be honest about that. Just don't like the World Cup. I think it's stupid. What is this? I can't even see nothing. It's like an error has occurred. What do you mean? Okay. All of my posts from today are missing from my page. That's Brandon Straka. Hashtag walk away. That's weird. That's weird, man. You should definitely look into that. Health Ranger, Mike Adams. Here's a bombshell. Global famine analysis. You haven't heard anywhere else. From each day that war with Iran continues, about 400 million people will face a day with no food in the 2027-28 timeframe. I will show you the math. So he will show us the math. Okay. Even more shockingly, most of the starvation and food desperation will occur in nations that have no involvement whatsoever in this war, of course. Thus, the current casualties on the ground of U.S. soldiers, Iranians, or Israelis will be absolutely dwarfed by the number of famine casualties around the world, largely concentrated in Southeast Asia, Africa, and some Middle Eastern countries such as Somalia. Here's the math. It is broadly understood by most food scientists and agricultural analysts that synthetic fertilizers currently fed about half the world's population, roughly 4 billion people. If you conduct deep research on the percentage of synthetic fertilizer that comes out of the Persian Gulf, mostly via natural gas extraction and the Haber-Bosch process to create nitrogen-based fertilizers, you come to find that Persian Gulf fertilizer production accounts 8 to 12% of the world's total fertilizer production. Most fertilizer is produced and consumed domestically and isn't traded on international markets. So even though Persian Gulf exports as much as 1/3 of globally traded fertilizer, it only accounts for 8 to 12% of global fertilizer production. If we settle on 10% here, then we realize that Persian Gulf fertilizer exports keep about 400 million people alive around the world. Thus, end to end, one day of halted fertilizer exports results in around 400 million people not having food for one day in the end. The pipeline is long and convoluted due to the growing seasons, food harvests, stored food supplies, and so on. Similarly, 10 days of continued closure means roughly about 400 million people having nothing to eat for 10 days. Now, we have to account for the fact that people don't starve instantly. They can survive some period of time without food. This is typically limited to a few weeks. Few people can survive past 45 days without food. So, unless food is redistributed from the food abundant nations to the food scarce nations, just 45 days of closure of the Strait of Hormuz creates an air pocket in the fertilizer supply chains that puts the lives of up to 400 million people at risk due to food scarcity. And it's in its simplest form, but reality is more complex, especially when hungry people are resourceful and most will take steps to avoid starving. There's the cannibalism factor when people start eating each other. For example, that can keep some groups fed for a while longer, although the people they eat obviously won't survive. Similarly, there will be much more local hunting of animals, even rats, dumpster diving, the eating of zoo animals, the neighbors' cats, etc. When hungry people will eat shoelaces, leather, tree bark, cardboard, and all sorts of other things they normally wouldn't eat. And when you see this behavior, you know things are bad. There are also resourceful people who will refuse to die from starvation because they will hunt, kill, eat a variety of animals, or they will steal from grocery stores, hijack food delivery trucks, etc., in order to survive. And some of food abundant nations will make efforts to contribute food to those nations where famine is worsening. So I don't think anywhere near 400 million people will actually die from starvation. The number might be much smaller, perhaps just one tenth, 40 million. But even then, that number is shockingly far higher than any number currently in the minds of anyone in the mainstream media. The White House, the Pentagon, or even the UN. I mean, they really don't care if 40 million people die. They don't give a shit. They don't really care. 400 million people die of starvation. They want their war anyways. They want their war, and that's all they want. They don't give a shit what you want. They don't really care what you want whatsoever. The war is coming, and it's never going to stop. It's never going to stop, this war. Almost nobody realizes that the long-term mass famine repercussions of this ongoing war and how Trump's actions are in effect risking the lives of potentially tens of millions of people in the future next year, mostly because of the long pipeline of energy, fertilizer, food. The energy is cut off today, the fertilizer runs out soon, and the famine kicks in not long after that. It's like this is going to kill more people than COVID, but guess what? There's not going to be famine lockdowns. Not going to be famine lockdowns. No, they're just going to let these people do that. They're going to let these people because it's going to happen in certain countries, and it's going to affect them until this is done. It's going to affect them until this is done. There's going to be unrest. 40 million people is a lot of people. Regardless, it's not going to be 400 million like you said, but 40 million, that's still a lot of people. That's a lot of people. This isn't just a question of food costing more, it is an issue of the food simply not existing because it's not being grown due to the lack of fertilizer or crops that are grown produce far lower yields because of the lack of fertilizer. In the worst case scenario, around 5% of the total global population could face high risk of famine in 2027, 2028, or even longer if this war continues. Put another way, Trump isn't simply waging war on Iran. His war of choice is actually a war against the human race, and it's a war against the innocent civilians and children in marginalized nations like Bangladesh, Somalia, Yemen, and even nations like India and Egypt, where food security is dicey, even in a good year. If not halted, Trump's war could quite literally end up killing far more humans than the Holocaust of World War II, multiples of that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Multiples of that. People want to, these Jewish people, oh, I'm a third generation Holocaust survivor. I stink like matzo balls. Get out of here with that. These people are nuts, man. These people are nuts. They call themselves, I'm a third generation Holocaust survivor. I'm a third generation Holocaust survivor. Oh, I love matzo balls. Fucking assholes. This is who we're going to war for. And this is crazy that we're going to war for these people. That's the path we are currently on. Spread the word. Do your own research on this. Tell me why I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, tell me where the food is going to come from if the fertilizer doesn't flow out of the Persian Gulf. Because you can do all the research in the world and it doesn't change the fact on the ground. If the strait stays closed, the world begins to starve. And the starvation escalates dramatically in 2027 to the point where easily tens of millions of people will face the risk of dying from famine. And yeah, nobody's going to lock down the world because these people can't eat. They'll be this will be more deaths than the COVID pandemic. This would be more deaths than the COVID pandemic. Absolutely. This is more deaths than the drugs that happen in the country with the fentanyl. It's way worse. This would kill. This is going to kill a lot of people. This is going to be a major famine genocide. I will cover this for more detail tomorrow's broadcast. So let's look at this here. The Invisible War, global famine fallout from the Iran conflict 2027-2028. Current casualties dwarfed by future mass starvation risk in non-combatant nations. So the energy, fertilizer, food pipeline. Persian Gulf energy and natural gas, Haber Bosch synthetic fertilizer products, fertilizer crops, unfertilized crops, global food scarcity. The Dale starvation risk. This is nuts, man. This is really in depth here. Okay, let's go back to anything that's recent again. So this Middle East Observer 6 seconds ago, initial reports emerge of a second fatality in Deir Jarir, east of Ramallah, following the settler and Israeli forces attack on the town. Oh man, you got to be kidding me! Following the settler and Israeli forces attack on the town that earlier killed Ahmed Adel Rashid Abu Mako. Crowds are heading to Ramallah Specialist Hospital to mourn Nablus Gahir Rast Akbar Shihaba. Man, that's nuts, dude. They're just killing these people in the West Bank. They're going to take over. They don't give a shit, Israel. Here comes James Fishback. Wow. 10 million ad against James Fishback during the World Cup final. Yeah, let's see this.
Is this really what you want your Republican Party to look like? It's time to act before normal people are shut out of the GOP forever. Frontline Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
That is wild. That is so wild, man. That is crazy that they put that up. But they made him more popular, James Fishback, by linking all them up with him. Dan Bilzerian? I mean, Dan Bilzerian's fucking very influential. Fuck libs TikTok. So let's go here. Geopolitics. This is 3 hours ago. The Yemeni armed forces in Sania have announced that they will issue an official statement tomorrow outlining a position they say befits the aspirations of our people, because the announcement is being made by the military rather than political leadership. It strongly suggests that it will include escalatory measures. The fact that the statement was announced in advance indicates that negotiations and mediation efforts have likely failed to satisfy Sania's primary demand, the complete lifting of the siege and blockade. If no agreement is reached in the remaining hours, Yemen appears poised to take the unilateral action. So Yemen's going to now come in also on Iran's part. Great. Cartier family. I don't have any dog in the fight, but I appreciate witnessing greatness. If this is the start of Lemon Yamil and the greatness of Spain, I'm glad to have witnessed it. So I guess Spain is winning. Goal. I guess Spain's going to win. Spain's going to win the World Cup. Oh, great. People are gonna friggin' go nuts, especially Israel, because Spain fucking hates Israel, man. I mean, you had all those Spanish broadcasters come up and give the middle finger about Israel. They don't give a fuck, man. In Spain, that's probably the only based thing about Spain is that they hate Israel. That's about it. But they're a bunch of fucking socialist fucking pieces of garbage. But they really, really, really hate Israel. And that's probably the only based thing about them. Which I don't like all these politicians on the right, and they're trying to put up ads about James Fishback. They're just not reading the room. They're not reading the room. Neither is Nick Fuentes because he's being paid. But his PayPal is back on. Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes, they need to kick rocks and get the fuck out. Both of those guys. And Clavicular. I don't know what young people are watching these days, but if you're watching Clavicular, if you're watching Nick Fuentes, or you're watching Andrew Tate and you believe in what these guys say, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot for watching these people or believing in them. They are probably the worst because, like, they have to be in the same spaces that I am. They're idiots. They're the fucking psyop. Okay? Joining now. I guess this is the mother of all talk shows with George Galloway. Okay? The mother of all talk shows. Yes, we make a Scottish accent. The mother of all talk shows. I guess. I don't know. Kalshi, just in, 90% chance of Spain beats Argentina, which is crazy. I don't know. I don't watch the World Cup, but I thought Spain was going to win. Is that Shakira? Shakira. She's the fucking weirdo who's pro-Israel. Shakira was asked who's she backing in the final. She said even though she has 2 Spanish sons, she's friends with Messi and she's proud of him. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. She's pro-Israel. That's why she's with Argentina. All the pro-Israel people are with Argentina. It really showed the true colors of what's really going on. Ricky Zaccaluno. I don't know. That's an Italian name, and I can't even say it. So when are we changing the name of the Department of Justice to the Department of Cover-Ups? I mean, it already is. It already is Department of Cover-Up. Spain takes the lead in an extra time. Yeah, the World Cup, man. It's over. FIFA will scrap the mandatory hydration breaks when they're no longer pandering to U.S. advertising interests. New FIFA announced mandatory hydration breaks may be scrapped after criticism from fans during the World Cup. That's crazy, Arthur Kwan Lee. I literally just want our politicians to stop blank kids and submitting to the genocidal Jews. That must have taken a lot to do right there. This is Glenn Greenwald, and this was 8 hours ago. Wall Street Journal. Israel is pouring vast sums of money into the conservative media, AI, and MAGA influencers to recontaminate the minds of American youth to once again love, revere, and pledge loyalty to Israel. Of course. Because they want you to be brainwashed by Jews. They want Israel to brainwash you. It's a mass MK Ultra wind up toy. They want you to believe, oh yes, Israel is God's chosen land. It's God's chosen land. Yeah. God did it like when they weren't friggin' sacrificing children, damn it. And then they did that and they started idol worshiping other gods. And they lost that pact with God and they got casted out of Israel. They don't even practice true Judaism, these Jews. They don't even practice true Judaism. True Judaism is sacrificing animals in the temple. That's what true Judaism is. They want you to be brainwashed by them. They want the youth back. Can't get them though. They can't get them. Ain't happening. So let's see here. Wall Street Journal. Israel's 50 million experiment to change U.S. public opinion. The Israeli government is trying to shore up its U.S. reputation with help from influencers, Trump insiders, and millions of AI driven text. Of course. Of course. We know exactly what's coming. We know exactly what's coming. The text message come from senders named Emma or Sarah with a group called Friends for Peace. How do you think the US and Israel's peace talks with Iran will impact global security? They asked. Millions of similar texts have flooded American cell phones in recent months. They are written with artificial intelligence, pushed by a longtime Trump advisors firm, and paid for by Israeli government, of course. Some 60% of American adults now have an unfavorable view of Israel, according to a March poll by Pew Research, driven by its handling of its wars in Gaza and Iran. Israel is pouring tens of millions of dollars into somewhat quixotic effort to beat back that tide, drawing on novel strategies powered by AI and directly paying conservative media. Of course, as Chunk Yogurt would say, of course. Let me tell you, of course, you're gonna see the pump coming in. It's gonna be the pump of Jewry. Oh, you gotta push to Israel. You gotta support Israel always and forever. That's why Nick Fuentes is going in for Israel. He is going in. He said he's tired of the goy again because he really just wants to fucking. He really just wants to fucking give in to them. He wants to he wants to make money. Nobody wants to be like that. Like, look at me. I've been making content since like 2007, right? And then I got into conspiracy theories and talked about Israel and all this shit way before Nick Fuentes. I'm 37 years old. I've been talking about all this shit more than most of these influencers do. They got into the space like around when Trump was coming in. There was a whole conspiracy theorist echo chamber of YouTube way before these people came around, before QAnon came around, before all these people. Okay. So I definitely remember everything that went on pre all this stuff and before all these people were around. Like Nick Fuentes thinks he's an OG. No, I'm the real OG, and a lot of other people are, like Alex Jones, even though he's probably controlled opposition as well. Or maybe Adam Green, no more news. He hasn't been around that long. Was talking about this shit way before he was. All these other people, man. All these other people are just trying to make money. Okay? They will fucking give in and get paid. That's why Adam Green's like so against all the people talking about the Charlie Kirk inside job. Okay? So against it. So against it. So let's continue. Vice President J.D. Vance this past week accused Israel's influence campaign of trying to undermine U.S. negotiations to end the Iran conflict. Some Israeli officials are manipulating and trying to change American public opinion to keep the war going on indefinitely, he told podcaster Joe Rogan. The artificial intelligence texts are one piece of more than $45 million contract that the Israeli government recently signed with Brad Parscale, a longtime ally of President Trump. Israel sets a 2026 budget of more than $700 million to expand the country's efforts to shape consciousness and improve its image around the world. Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar said late last year the Israeli Foreign Ministry didn't respond to interview requests. Its allies argue that its influence campaign is necessary to counter what? To counter to everything that we do and say. Just a regular person like me, because they're gonna because the big people that are way bigger than me, they're just gonna go after them. They don't care about me because they're gonna let me say whatever I want because I have no influence whatsoever. They already bought the fuck out of me. Probably they've shadow banned the shit out of me. So definitely, they just don't even care about what I have to say. They don't give a shit. They'll let me talk my shit and let me keep going because I influence nobody. I influence nobody's mind. I influence nobody's brain. I pretty much just talk about what's already out there because people know. That's why people don't need to watch me and hear what I have to say because it's already out there. There's many of other people that talk about this. I just like to put things together from my brain in conjunction to see what's going on as a pattern. And if people like that and they see it, awesome. Here's GBC. This is GBC on X. Breaking, and this was 8 minutes ago. FIFA has announced that the halftime of the World Cup final lasts 27 minutes due to the concerts held. Since when do we have concerts during the football match? The worst tournament in history. I guess that's what they call it. The worst tournament in history. So, Andrew Tate, the UK can try, and this is 2 hours ago. The UK can try, but it can't actually stop me from tweeting. Yeah, bullshit. The British government is the most corrupt on earth. I don't know. You're a weirdo, bro. You're a weirdo. He's a fucking weird guy. But you know what? Let's go back and hear what he has to say anyways. He's a weird dude.
And I said, okay, against two. Let me clear up this news you're seeing on the timeline. The British state has accused me of a crime. They said 15 years ago I did something I wasn't supposed to do and I'm a criminal. But they won't tell me who against. They won't tell me where it happened. They won't tell me when it happened. They just said 15 years ago you did a crime. And I said, okay, against two. We're not telling you in case you tweet it. Why would I tweet it? What are you talking about? Tell me who I committed this crime against so I can defend myself. Nope, we're not going to let you defend yourself. You're accused of a crime. You're charged with a crime. We won't tell you who against.
Well, he wants to know just to intimidate them because this guy, he just wants to intimidate. That's why he really wants to know. He's trying to be smart, but he's not smart enough. He's not smart enough, this bald fuck. Like, he thinks people don't see through him. He's a piece of shit. They might be doing the right thing for once, but they're not doing it for the right reasons. They just want to make an example of somebody who does do it. Because all these rich fucks are in that fucking crazy shit. But let me tell you something. They're just going to make an example out of him. Most likely, they're going to show that he really did do it. Right? That he really did do it. He's going to get caught. He's going to be arrested. And then they're gonna show us, right? And they're just gonna make it because they need to make an example out of people. They can't. They're willing to sacrifice their own. These global elite occultists. These global elite occultists will throw their own under the bus to make an example of them. They let them get as rich as they want. They let them do all the debauchery and all the sick, sadistic shit that they want until the narrative changes where they're losing control. They got to make examples out of their own. And they're most likely going to try to make an example out of this guy. I mean, he's got 59 charges. He's definitely getting extradited. I mean, he thinks this is like a game, right? Because he's playing the internet. Because he needs to make money, and all he thinks about is fucking money. That's it. That's all he cares about is money. I think he's gay, allegedly. I think he's gay. I mean, if you say, you give people a choice, either you want to fuck, Hulk Hogan with a pussy or Megan Fox with a dick. He chose Megan Fox with a dick.
And I said, well, then how do I put a defense together? And they said, well, if you come to England, we'll tell you. I said, sure, I'll come to England. No problem. All I want to know is, can you guarantee I will not be remanded in custody? They said, no, we're not going to guarantee you that. If you come to England, there's a strong chance you're going to go to Belmarsh, remanded in custody for years, pre-trial. And I'm like, so you are accusing me of a crime. You've issued a warrant. You won't tell me who the crime was committed against, if they even exist, because they don't. These are made-up victims, completely made up. They have people hiding behind anonymity and just attacking me, demanding millions of euros, millions of dollars for things that happened in 2009 Nobody's telling me what these things are. Nobody's telling me who these people are. Nobody's telling me when they happened, where they happened, nothing. And they're saying if I go to jail, they'll tell me, but I have to fly to England and put myself in jail. And I know you're wondering, how come when Britain, as it collapses and doesn't give a fuck about grooming gangs,
Which he's right about this. He's right about this. They're not going after any of the grooming gangs. They're not doing anything really about that at all. And they're going after him. That's true, because they want to make an example out of him. They want to make an example out of him. Let's continue.
doesn't give a fuck about the stabbings, doesn't care about the drugs on the street, doesn't care about any of the real crime. How come they keep talking about Andrew Tate? That's because I highlight the problems with the country. They don't want to fix the problems. They want to get rid of me for talking about the problems. So why do I get to travel the world so freely? Why have I been to 25 countries this year? Because when I land in Hong Kong and the British government call the authorities and say, we need Andrew Tate, we have a warrant, the authorities say, well, what's the warrant for? And who's it against? And the British state says, we don't want to tell you who the victims are. The victims don't exist, so no country will extradite me. So I'm traveling the world completely free. No country respects England anymore. Nobody's sending me to them. I'm living as a free man. They keep putting on the BBC that they want to get hold of me. And I'm saying, tell me who my accuser is, and I'll come talk to you. And they're like, no, because they've completely made it up. They've made it up to slander me in the media over and over and over again. Their intention is to just lie about me, lie about charges, lie about victims, lie, so that I don't support Rupert or I don't support Farage, so I don't support anyone, because if I support anyone who's going to make a change in the country, they're going to say, Andrew Tate's accused of crimes, Accused by who? I don't even know the names of these imaginary victims. They haven't even bothered to make up imaginary victims. That's how fucked England is. Guys, the rule of law is collapsing all around us. This can happen to you too. They can say you need to go to jail because you did a crime.
That's weird. Whoa. Okay, so they have me as two windows now? Hold on. Okay, let me see. It's a little glitch that just happened. Had a little glitch that happened there. Let me see. Okay. So let's see. Let's go to the home page here. Okay. So let's see. US national debt. Okay, this is going to be crazy. 2011, 14. I mean, we could just go down the list. You could read it here, and it goes up pretty much every year. That's an increase of 167% since 2011. That's great. Wow. Let me move myself over here. That's crazy. Unbelievable. Wow. That's just nuts. I don't even know what to say. We have really bad people in power. So but I think I'm going to see myself out of here because we're going to end this. We've been doing this. We did this before. This is all we had to say for an update. Peace out, everybody. Be safe.